from Marty Burns, Nova Scotia, Canada. In fact, hey, James and Dutch, love the show and the chemistry you two have. Which wrestler has or had the best finisher?
Let me take a little thinking. Well, a lot of them had good finishers. Figure four. But the most believable finisher that I remember, because it was used on me, and it made an impression on me, was Abdullah the Butcher's elbow drop. At so much weight, about 400 pounds. And when he dropped the elbow on you, yeah, you had more than just that elbow coming down on you. You know, he had a bigger, he had a lot of meat hanging off the side. So when he hit you, this part really hit you over here. It should have hit you about there. But this elbow here would hit you on this side. Oh my God. And it was about at least 250 pounds coming down on you. Now, but just for a second or two, but still, I think that was you didn't ask for believable finishes. You asked about the one that I saw that was most spectacular, I guess. But the most believable, even to the one taking it, was Abdullah's elbow drop. My God. So if you had to be a pretty big guy to take it, because you had to get those arms up. At least protect yourself a little bit.
What was the most over finisher?
Well, there's been a lot of over finishers. And a finisher is one that nobody kicks out of. There's no such thing now. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody in WWE, everybody's kicking out. Oh, my God. And the face always comes up like, oh, my God, I can't believe it. That is the most overused expression in WWE, is the surprise face when a guy kicks out of your finisher. So,
but when it happens every week, I mean, how can you be surprised?
Yeah, because this guy kicked out of it last week, and now this guy's kicking out of it. Then you coming up and you're surprised. Well, hell, I don't know. This business has more ifs and buts about it than I've ever seen. So, but again, I've said this 1,000 times. I'll say it 1,001. I'm not the judge of it. The fans are. So when they stop buying it, maybe they'll stop doing it. But you're asking a group of people. It's groupthink. You remember groupthink from what was the book?
I don't know.
I'll think of it in a minute.
Oh,
I don't know either.
Well, it's not 1984, is it, or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Groupthink. So you sit back and it's whatever they think, not me, them. And the person that has to make that decision he is deciphering the group. Said, okay, do that. So if you hit an elbow, if Abdullah hit an elbow on you and somebody kicked out, it killed the elbow, really. Now, if only one guy kicked out, might not be too bad. But if nobody kicks out, when he hits you with the elbow, it's done. It's over. And you expect a 1, 2, 3. And when you get away from that formula, that's when you start tinkering with something. Only tinker, if you're a booker, only tinker with something if you know how far to go with it and when to pull it back or when to stop it. Because if you get those people expecting something and they're not given, that will really hurt your production. Let me say that.
Okay, to finish this on, what do you think? And I want to go specifically to the territory days because, wrestling has evolved, or however you want to describe it. And back in the day, it could be looked as some moves that would get a pinfall could be looked at as antiquated now, like a suplex or a stalling suplex from Harley Race. Wouldn't get anyone pinned these days, I'm sure. Or but what were some of the moves that you took where you were supposed to be pinned from, and then you think, what with that? That looks really lame. Like a knee drop or something.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think the wrestling business got ahead of itself. They tried more and more and more and more, but sometimes more is not enough. It's too much. So if nobody is there to pull that back in, or if the booker or the whoever's watching the product in the ring, if he's not paying attention, well, he can get away from you quick and before anybody notices it. But an experienced booker would see it and say, we need to pull this back in, guys. See, it's easy to take it back to simple now is easier said than done because they've seen the best now, the very best. But now they're putting in gymnastics and tumbling with it too, which makes absolutely no sense. And that's why, and I'll put it this way, that's why Gunther gets over. You don't see Gunther doing any kind of extra moves. He just beats you up. Now, not everybody can do that, but he has the right size to do it. He looks like a big lumbering guy with power. So he can do that. Now, a little guy like Ricochet can't do it. And that's what makes him stand out because he does things that the big guys can't do, but he can't draw you any money. So there's a drawback on everything. And I think Gunther I think he will be the heavyweight champion. I think him and Cody, if Cody gets the title, which I think he will, I think him and Cody could have a hell of a run. Give Roman Reigns a rest, then have him come back in, maybe help Cody out against him. People would buy that like a son of a bitch because now they can cheer him. Then about 6-8 months down the line, have him turn on Cody. And it just continually flows like this. So if you can keep that running and moving and the people guessing, you got a good business for a long, long time.
I've got an idea for Ricochet. He should change his finisher to the Hart punch.
Why?
He shouldn't. It just looked completely ridiculous. Crush used the Hart punch in the 90s, and I remember looking at it and thinking that's the worst finisher in the entire world. I'm trying to think of some other ones here. I've got a list of Bleacher Report have put a list of worst finishers ever. I always hated Papa Shango's shoulder breaker. So I just thought, yeah, you've got to pin your shoulders to the match, but it's like, mat, but it's like, my shoulder hurts. I can't kick out. That was stupid. Coco Butt. The aeroplane spin. Lord. Oh, the spinning toe hold. That was Terry Funk's forever.
I never got it.
He humped your leg.
Yeah. Back years ago, I said, what? The spinning? Why don't he get it and hold it? I mean, why would you be I don't know. Because you can sometimes think too much for your own good. And to ask that question in the dressing room, you may get slapped. Jerry, I don't get the spinning toe hold. What's that? How do you beat the guy if you're spinning? Are you spinning or is he spinning? Why would you spin?
Like a horny dog missing his master's leg. Terry would grind on that thing until you submitted. What the hell's the Playmaker? MVP's Playmaker? I don't remember what that was. The Cobra, Santino and Morelos.
Ox Baker years ago had the Hart punch. And it was believable because he would take the arm and he would pull it over. So you were back like this, and the Hart, and he would drill it. People believed that because he had killed, allegedly, he didn't, but they had a heart attack, one of the Torres brothers. And he came to Atlanta, where I was, And they played that up because that hard punch could kill you. And when people looked up, I think it was Alberto that he had killed. And we went to Savannah one night. Remember I told you he had Ray Gunkel, and he hit him with the hard punch, and he fell over dead with a heart attack in the dressing room. Well, I hate a man died, but serendipity. I mean, and that heart punch was just over more. So, but people believed that. They really did.
I'm going to give you a few more.
Okay, if somebody wants to say, shit, man, that heart punch that don't hurt nobody. I've never seen anybody stand there and ask to take it. When he pulls that back, and you're whoa, whoa, whoa. Now you have nothing to stop it, and nobody. But I have seen guys that had the sleeper, and people come up and said, I don't believe that sleeper works. And they had this Irish guy named Timothy Cohagen, and he knew how it worked. And I've seen him put people to sleep just going out of the building. They say, I don't believe that's a bunch of crap. Oh yeah, you can't put me to sleep. Oh yeah, you just lay them out and leave them and walk away. Then they get up, nobody's there. He'd put them to sleep and left them. You ever been put in a sleeper?
Oh yeah, many times. I've never gone out, but I've got to the point where
you have not been put in a sleeper many times. Just what you
many times. Yeah, absolutely. I used to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu quite a lot, so and I wasn't very good at it, so I used to get choked out all the time.
This guy showed me this move one time, and it's called a front chancery. You know what it is?
Yeah, it's essentially a guillotine, and I have been put in many of those as well. Down, yeah.
And if you crank back, you could break a neck. So I says, and I always remembered that in case I got in a fight with a guy and had to hurt him. I didn't want to kill him, but I would get him off of me real quick if I didn't have my gun.
The guillotine that I hated the most getting put in was the 10-finger guillotine. So essentially, instead of putting your head...
What do you mean the 10 finger?
Well,
what is that?
It was 8 fingers and 2 thumbs if you want to be precise about it. But instead of like a guillotine under and then you'd like choke with the forearm to the side, you'd have the head right in your sternum with your head down and crushed in, and then the chest would be put over the head, and then you'd be choked out with 10 fingers. So the person will put the fingers under your throat and then wrench up like that, and that's horrible. But yeah,
does it hurt?
Oh yeah, it doesn't choke you out as much. It just cuts off your airways, so you tap pretty quickly there as well. But I mean, with the regular guillotine and most variations of it, it cuts off the arteries both sides of your neck, and you go out that way, which is a lot easier way of going out, quite frankly, than the former. Before we shut down the podcast, I'm going to give you a few more finishes from the Sportster that is declared as rubbish. Hulk Hogan's leg drop. I don't know, I thought it was pretty good.
I liked it.
Ultimate Warrior's splash. Right, they've put the Flying Hammerlock by George the Animal Steel. I love that finisher. So you get in the hammerlock, and then he'd lift you up. It looked amazing. I thought it was a great finisher. The bear hug, Hillbilly Jim, that was a bag of shit. I'll give him that. The battering ram, the bushwhackers, that was terrible. The Polish hammer, the chicken wing by the Red Rooster. The kneeling chokeslam by the Mountie. I've seen a million Mountie matches. I don't know what that is. The Asiatic spike by Solo Sikoa and Don Morocco and Fuji and after Japanese wrestlers. This is a terrible one. Sergeant Slaughter, the Atomic Noogie. So you get you in headlock. You get in headlock, and he shoves his knuckle, and you go, ugh, like that in your forehead. You know, like you were 5, and somehow that one matches. The boomerang clothesline by Outback Jackie just clotheslined you twice. The flying forearms, Tito Santana, which I quite like. The audit by IRS. And what was
that?
I'm just trying.
I don't know what it was.
No, I'm just trying to find out what it was. I thought it was just a clothesline. No, hang on. It was just IRS hoisting a guy on his shoulders like an airplane spin, then dropping them down. It was no different than a regular potty slam, but sold like a powerful move. So there you go. And the worst in this list is Kerry Von Erich's discus punch, which I quite like.
I don't remember it.
We just did a punch, but he did a little spin first.
I thought he had a figure 4.
Yeah, he did that as well. But in WWF, he in the Texas Tornado days, he did.
Didn't he use that against Flair on the big stadium show when he won it?
Yeah.
Figure 4, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Had a big house that night.
Oh well.